Welcome to the biggest influences. This is 100% maybe the real Joe Rogan.
Japan's got a whole different scene, huh?
Yeah.
You know, I'm good friends with Josh Barnett, and Josh Barnett does a lot of commentary for pro wrestling. He's done a bunch of pro wrestling over in Japan, and it's like the feel of it in Japan is so. That's why Pride got so big. The reason why Pride got so big is they had guys like Takada, who was like a big pro wrestling champion over there, who fought Hicks and Gracie in a real fight. So their pro wrestling over there was giant.
Yeah, it was. Oh my God. When I was going over there in the 70s, 80s.
Pull that microphone up to you.
Oh, when I was going over there in the 70s and 80s, it was incredible. We had the two companies, All Japan, New Japan, Inoki and Baba. It was huge. And Brody and Hanson were making, if I'm not mistaken, in the 80s, were making like 15 to 20, maybe 25,000 a week a piece.
Wow.
And going over there 30 weeks a year.
Wow. 30 weeks a year. What's it like partying in Japan? Partying with the Yakuza?
Roppongi, man. Unbelievable.
What's it like?
Oh, Joe.
Tell me. Talk to me.
Can you sing karaoke?
What was your go-to song? What would you sing over in Japan?
I didn't sing. I just went in there and talked to the girls.
Wow. No suspicious minds in the jukebox?
No karaoke, just the women serving the drinks. So it's $100 American for a beer. You're in the right place.
Is it really?
Almost. Hell, it's $25 for a Diet Coke in Tokyo.
Wow.
Yeah, the bars over there are expensive. That's why you got to find the sponsors. Being a world champion, I always had someone that wanted to take me out. And then there's Shinjuku, where all the bathhouses are. That's a whole different story, too.
What's that like?
That's like walking the red carpet and getting a bath. With all kinds of candles around you, liquor, and beautiful Japanese women.
Did you ever have a night or a week or a month or something?
They used to say to me, Flair-san, you want Korean barbecue or Shinjuku? Shinjuku, please. Can I bring friends?
Was there ever a time where you were with so many women having so much fun? Was there ever a moment where you're like, man, maybe I should settle down a little bit? Like, this is a crazy day.
No.
There was not even a half a millisecond there. There was not, oh yeah, I kind of wasted time.
Having that experience. Only when my ATM card ran out.
So when you would go over there, how long would you stay in Japan for?
Only a week at a time. The longest I was there was for 14 days. But Japan's fun. But Tokyo, the big cities are great. You know, the small towns, not so much. You know, actually, when I started going in the 70s, there was still a little bit of hostility.
Oh, towards Americans?
In the small towns, for sure. And they wouldn't even let you in the restaurants at night. So, I mean, all that's gone now, but that's a lot went down between us and them.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A few things happened. Yeah. So when you would go over there to wrestle, like, how would that work out? Did you, because those guys, did they speak English? Did you just kind of like figure it out as you were wrestling?
Figure it out, and the referee, kind of go back and forth. And back then, now the Japanese wrestlers aren't, like, there's a few of them, but in the old days, those guys were all tougher than shit, man. I mean, there was no kid you were just going to play around with. They were all rough. They wanted to prove themselves. They wanted to climb the ladder. It was a nightmare for me because I'm not tough. I can do anything. You can beat me up. I'm just not. When I'm wrestling, Jumbo Ceruto was an Olympian. What year? 82 Olympian or 80 Olympian. It was a long night. German suplexes. You know, he was a Greco-Roman wrestler. So I'm not afraid of anything. I just can't do much with those guys.
I saw a bunch of videos of Japanese pro wrestling that turns into an actual fight, where they're, it like they thought it was a work and it turns out to be a shoot, and you're seeing a guy recognizing like in the middle of the match that this is an actual fight, and the guy beats the fuck out of the guy.
Yeah, they do. Yep. Wow. I don't know if they do it anymore, but they did. Yep.
See if you can find some of those, because was it Barnett that showed it to us? I think. But some of them are fucking absolutely brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's just basically like an MMA fight. The guy's soccer kicking the guy in the face and pounding on him.
That's crazy.
When you, when you would go over there, if you were going to have a wrestling match with a Japanese pro wrestler, how did you know? Did you guys talk about it in advance, like who was going to win or how the person?
Yeah.
How would that work?
You'd have the very few of them could speak fluent. I think they understand you, but they can't talk. So, they understand our language enough.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always a communicator, referee going back and forth. But you never know. It just, I had some great matches over there, and I had some. They looked okay, but they weren't good. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't hang with the guys. Because the good amateur wrestlers, I just couldn't hang with. I mean, I wrestled in high school, state champion, and that stuff. But those kids over there it's all they have. Though. They're either going to make it to the big time or they're not. And then, I suppose like anybody over here, if you don't make it doing that, what are you going to do?
So would you know someone's ability before you got in there in the ring with them?
I'd know.
So
what
you
the tough
knew
ones
this
were.
guy was an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah. They sent Harley with me one time. That's an embarrassing story. But they called me and said they want to switch the title, and we're not going to let them do it. And I said to them, I'm sending Harley with you to make sure they don't. So Harley hit his head outside the ring.
Subscribe to Biggest Influences today.